Welcome back to the Somerville and Brewcast, the official podcast of the Somerville and Brew Alliance, located here in beer-soaked Somerville, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. This is episode 26.
Wow, you went back and counted.
I did. I don't even
know whether or not I should be mocking you about numbers anymore. It's like used to be a thing where I could rely on knowing how many, but
nope, not anymore. This we're gonna call it Shakespeare Throwdown, or as I wrote in my notes, Shakespeare Throwestdown. It's going to be great.
You were so proud of that, too. I could see your eyes lighting up like you did something amazing.
I came up with one word.
It's good. It's a good word.
I think Shakespeare came up with a couple more. I'm Jason Ng, by the way.
And I'm Alex Rudders.
Today, we are going to do a couple things. First is some brew news. We're going to bring back some stories. And then we're also going to take a trip to Shakespeare Town by Night Shift Brewery.
Yo, tour of a Barrel Society classic.
They have like 4, is that right?
Yeah,
4 Barrel Society beers that are made after Shakespeare.
This is actually from their 2017s, and they all have a theme. So the theme of the year for 2017 was Shakespeare. So we have 3 of the 4. They were actually kind of hard to get your hands on them. I sort of collected them through talking to people. They're like, "Oh, I have this. Do you want this?"
Yeah,
because they've just been sitting on it for a while. They didn't really know what to do with it because they bought multiple ones through Barrel Society. So
I looked on them on Rate Beer, or like tried to find some. And for instance, like I think it was King Lear had like 3 or 4 votes.
Yeah,
it's like not many people have these beers.
Surprisingly few reviews, and I've had a couple of these before a while back, so I don't really remember them a lot, but I do remember I was impressed by them at the time. Hopefully that holds up. And I'm like, this is garbage. Yeah. But like all barrel aged beers, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, the flavor profile changes. So we touched on this with the pumpkin beers. We had that one that we kept, I will say, masterfully in the fridge in various positions, and just the worst possible aging process I could have treated that barrel-aged beer to.
Oh, gosh. Profile
vastly different. So I'm looking forward to see what these are like opening these almost 2 years after their bottling.
That's craziness. Also, hey, by the way, it's been a while since we've recorded.
It's been a while.
It has. We had Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was wonderful. How was your Thanksgiving? We're doing small talk.
Yeah, we are.
Talk now.
I tried to transition a little bit into stories about eating and drinking, but I
Oh no! All I did was sit around and eat and drink. That's it. Like, I feel like that's what our founding fathers died for, fighting the Indians. From India, of course. I'm not talking about Native Americans. Yeah, that's my recollection of Thanksgiving. I don't think it's correct. I came from a Southern education, so I don't remember a lot other than a focus on the War of Northern Aggression, but that's...
Did you have any Thanksgiving beers? Because, remember last time around this year, we had...
King of beers, King of sours, first
Thanksgiving on a sour planet?
First Thanksgiving on a sour planet. It's not like
the
we
crazy
just spoke to them
monster
about
turkey?
It, and I should know the name immediately.
Yeah, I know.
But no, I actually didn't have that one. It was on tap for a while, but we was out of town, so I couldn't get over there to get to it. Surprisingly small selection for Thanksgiving beers out there, because you started seeing the Christmas beers dominate immediately, even before Halloween. So
absolutely,
that gripe is transferring into the beer world now, right, where you get really frustrated because you start seeing Christmas decorations early in August.
Yeah,
you start seeing Christmas beers too, and it's gonna just piss those people off too.
So I actually had a great Thanksgiving in South Carolina.
Didn't ask. How was your
No. Please don't.
I didn't really care.
I'm going to transition back to myself. I asked my question first, so now I get to tell my story. That was the whole reason why I asked my question first.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. Please stop. I need to move on to my story. So Liz my wife has a couple friends down in South Carolina, in Charleston, and I've never met them before. She's met them a few times since going to high school with them, and this was my first time meeting them. I was really excited because I randomly met this guy in an airport, and he just casually threw the thing to me that he was a cheese guy. I was like, wait, did I just meet a cheesemonger randomly in an airport? And now and he was also a huge fan of beer. So obviously the next time that we went down there, we're like, all right, we need to hang out. So this guy, Eric Casella, and his girlfriend Norma Granger, we met up with them and we went to a couple places. But so he works at Edmund's Oast. She works at Fig, which is a great restaurant down in Charleston. They're crazy awesome. But they have their own cheese company, right? I don't know how you get into that.
How do you even get into? How does one begin mongering cheese to begin with, and then
I don't know.
Like, I have a cheese place now. I feel like that's something you just spring on people. You don't plan that business out, right? It just has to happen organically.
I don't think you all of a sudden like you've had this like love of cheese since you were 5, and you're like, one day I'm gonna monger this cheese.
I'm gonna monger this shit.
Maybe
out of this when I grow up.
He started in like New York and like started like this cave system for this like cheese guy in Brooklyn or something.
Started in caves.
So he's like building his own system of like aging these cheeses now. He has like all of these crazy cheeses. It's all right. So their company is Counter Cheese Caves. You could go to countercheesecaves.com, right? And this is their website right here. It's awesome because he has all of these crazy cheeses. Well, let's just go to the shop real quick so you can see like, the online cheese shop, all of these aged cheeses. It gets me so hungry. And on top of cheeses, so we also went to like Revelry Brewery and Edmund's Oast, which is up like North Charleston.
Right.
Revelry was great because we went to this brewery and it looks kind of like this like gas station warehouse thing, like in the industrial area, just like most normal breweries are.
Right.
But their rooftop deck area is like 2 levels higher than the floor, and you don't know what's like in between. It's probably just like more brewery stuff, right. But it's like pretty high up, so it's awesome. But we went to like see the menu, and normally up in the Northeast, we're just like, oh, I'm assuming half of this is going to be IPAs. The guy apologized, not like I was totally fine with it. He's like, we don't have any IPAs on draft. Their entire menu was other stuff, and I was like, this is amazing.
You didn't be like, give me a cheese board so I can turn that shit over.
No.
In disgust.
Dude, look at these cheeses, though.
These look fantastic.
And
I'm no monger.
He works with a whole bunch of like different cheese people. You're no monger, but what?
I'm no monger, but those look like good cheeses. I mean,
Prodigal Farm Dirty
cheese.
Girl.
Really know, but they look fantastic. That's the Alex Rogers endorsement. No, these actually do look awesome. And the presentation's really cool.
It looks awesome. And he like, if you live in Charleston, he'll like deliver your cheese like on his bike, which is like so personal.
Yeah.
And he also mails some cheese out, so he gets like these huge cheese orders
as a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the horse head in the bed anymore. It's like a whole block of Gouda.
A huge block of just Parmigiano Romano or whatever.
Parmigiano, yeah, I think that's right.
What is that called?
Again, I'm not a monger.
Swiss. Let's stick to the easy stuff.
Craft.
My God, but some of this stuff is like so good. And Liz's parents get just like cheese boards all the time from him.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
If I could summon a guy on a bicycle to bring me a cheese board, real power move.
So he works at Edmund's Oast, which is also a brewery there, right? And they have this exchange. So they have this like big shop with a ton of other beers in there. And I think I showed you a picture. It's just like all hardwood inside.
I actually thought you were in Vermont because of how it looked. I thought you were in Vermont.
They had some like Maine Beer Co. stuff in there, and they had some Allagash and some other crazy stuff. How we bonded was because I was asking him for like a good beer just to like hammer down like with the family. And he's like, you should try this. A good seasonal thing that like I just drink straight out of the bottle it was a huge big bottle of St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. Nice. And I was like, oh, we're automatic friends.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But Edmund's also makes all of their own beer. And he had me try this beer that was insane because they have like a tap inside that little beer store. Mm-hmm. So they'll fill up crowlers or whatever for you. It's called Peanut Butter and Jelly. It smelled and tasted exactly like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Was it a porter or what style?
Oh, it looked like an IPA.
Wow.
Yeah, super light.
They got that flavor in there still. That's interesting.
Yeah, as soon as I held it like up to my nose, it like automatic recognition that peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Wow.
It was amazing. I tried to bring some back, and then I forgot it in the fridge at home. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I had such a great time. So shout out to Eric Casella. Great times. And I'm also gonna buy some shit off counter cheese caves.
Yeah, go check them out because their stuff looks amazing. And honestly, how are you going to pass up getting a person to deliver you a cheese board on a bike? Come on.
I know.
Why are you even listening to this if this is not something you're immediately interested in?
All right, so let's move on. Great time with vacations. Let's get into some news.
Oh, before that, I think we have a wonderful theme song we have here on the Brewcast.
Oh, yeah?
I want to make sure that we queue up and give lots of time.
Somerville and story time.
Cue it.
Somerville and story time. Somerville and... That's amazing, right? It's Somerville and story time.
All right, and we're back.
I think it should be longer. I know I say that every time, but I don't think it's long enough.
It grows on you where you just want to put it on repeat and repeat and repeat. I'll call up Carlin and be like, hey, can you sing me that song?
Yeah, please send your email.
I'll do it at like midnight.
Carlin requesting more versions of this song.
I want to start first. Can I start first?
Oh, look at you! Like my story matters more. You know, yeah. You
I have two stories.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I went
Welcome
over the
to
top here.
5-hour-long episode of the Brewcast.
You have your history. I have some numbers here. I'm so excited. So it's half legal too,
Wow,
which is
okay,
great.
So, yeah, it's been nice. Thank you for tuning in. This is now the legal and numbers portion, so we'll understand if you tune out.
Yep.
What you got?
Okay, so this is from the Motley Fool, but the title of it is Miller Coors kills off this favorite hipster beer, which is, I think, really funny. But it's about Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon really doesn't make their own beer anymore. They contract it, and it's through Miller's. And it's going to be hard to listen to if you love PBR. So in a contentious lawsuit that could determine the fate of the beer, Pabst charges that Miller Coors division of Molson Coors is trying to put it out of business by not renewing its contract brewing agreement. So Pabst doesn't actually brew its own beer, just as I said, but instead relies on an arrangement with Miller Coors to produce about 4 million to 4.5 million barrels of beer it needs annually at Miller Coors' Irwindale, California brewery. So as beer consumption has declined, Molson says that the brewery is no longer able to, or it can no longer sustain those numbers, and it needs to close down. So the subsequent capacity reduction would make it impossible to continue the contract.
Wow.
In a lawsuit attempting to keep the contract alive, Pabst contends that it's not a capacity issue at all, but rather Miller Coors wanting to eliminate Pabst as its competition. So it says that they've obtained these stunning documents to prove that the brewer was trying to get rid of them.
The stunning document is your entire production relies on your competitor.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do that.
And the second one is like an email from Miller Coors like, yeah, let's not continue to do this anymore.
I know I gave you that axe, but please stop hitting me. Please stop cutting my head off.
It's so bad. Pabst says that there's no other brewer that exists that has the capacity to produce 4 to 4.5 million barrels a year as it needs. Anheuser-Busch InBev could do it, but the brewer doesn't engage in contract brewing, and that means that Miller Coors is the only other one. I mean, you could do stuff like Sam Adams, but their entire production is just like 2 million.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Quote, it says, we are deeply disappointed that Miller Coors, the U.S. subsidiary and multinational brewing conglomerate Molson Coors, has willfully breached our 19-year agreement in an effort to stomp out the competition. It's so funny. They say they're getting bullied and pushed around, and it kind of is because
no, it's absolutely. I don't want to step on toes here. You may be getting to it, but you're gonna probably get to some antitrust stuff because they're clearly doing that.
Yeah,
they have the capacity. It's not like a poor Miller Coors who's been absorbing all these craft beers and getting into that space is suddenly not have the ability to make beer anymore.
Right, exactly. And so they're. Not only is it saying that it might close it down, there were some other talks, obviously, with Pabst to see if, if Miller could somehow fiscally make sense keeping the brewery open. So listen to this. Like, Molson Coors offered to extend the contract, but the $45 a barrel price that Pabst says it demanded was triple what it currently pays, and it couldn't accept the offer, quote, because it would have bankrupted us 3 times over. I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. They said that the price hike was astronomical, which I could totally see that. So they're just basically just nudging you slowly off of a cliff there. It's so nuts. And they normally would have the option to extend that contract, the one that they have right now, 5 years at a time, twice. Right. So that, I mean, Pabst is only going to be around for 10 years max at most, unless they find some sort of other contract or they make another contract or whatever.
It's just going to be a GoFundMe from everybody that goes to concerts. I mean, that's really the only time you'll ever have PBRs, when you're crushing them at a small concert venue.
But I mean, this could be a problem for other people as well. And one example that this article puts in is Boston Beer, which everybody knows as Sam Adams. They have contracts with other people in different states, but also across other countries for spiked and sparkling seltzer, twisted tea, Angry Orchard. And if you can all of a sudden back out of stuff like this and just, nudge your competition out by saying we're not going to fulfill this contract anymore, I mean, what is that going to say? It's so nuts. So if you have a PBR or you know where stuff is right now, you should probably go get it.
That is a collector's item officially.
Yeah. I wonder what that aged PBR is going to be like a couple years down the road. Is it going to increase in price? Decrease in taste?
What you should do, get all of the ones you can, put it in a barrel, and age that bad boy.
Oh, perfect.
I don't know if that's actually bad advice. I mean for it to definitely be bad advice.
Oh, that's totally bad.
Okay, good. It's not like I am on a beer podcast or anything and should know these things, but I do think that it would be a horrible thing to do, so you should definitely go do it.
Oh, awesome. So I'm really sorry to all those PBR people out there. I am one of those PBR people. From time to time, person. I had one just, 6 days ago.
I had the last concert I went to. I had a PBR. I mean, it's the concert beer to me. So,
oh man, it's so good. All right, what's your story? What do you got there?
You know how they've been legalizing weed at various states? It's becoming more of
we just had it in Massachusetts. Oh, did you hear that? The traffic is crazy now in that one town where they opened it up.
Their quality of life is non-existent now because they opened up a that's like the perfect Western Massachusetts response of the worst thing that's ever happened to this town is that weed shop. Yeah. It's the
traffic's unbearable.
They already have various hard drug problems, but it's that fucking weed shop.
Oh yeah, it's the legal weed shop that's killing everything.
I can't even get to the Dunkins.
All right, sorry to derail. What?
They took donuts off the Dunkins. They legalized weed. It's just fucking crazy in this town now. Sorry, we watched a Whitey Bulger film last night with actual interviews with real Boston people, Bostonians, I guess you would call them. And it was amazing. I know it was about a murderer, but I laughed so hard the entire time. Definitely check it out. It's Whitey. It's the name of it, which is also funny. So they've been legalizing.
Quote, it's Whitey?
No,
or just Whitey?
Whitey.
Okay.
Which, it was pretty funny.
It would have been funnier if it was, it's Whitey.
Yeah. It's like a fucking 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
It's when someone gets murdered.
Who murdered all these guys? It's Whitey.
Just knowingly looks into the camera. Yeah, that's my pick for Tim and Eric Whitey Bulger bit. So
we're both gonna get murdered by friends of Whitey now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been nice knowing you. So they've been legalizing weed, and recreational weed's become more of a thing. So you're starting to see it put into products. So one thing that's been a concern for craft beer, for some craft beer producers, is the recent shutdown of a lot of overcrowding, I guess, of the craft brew industry. So that's caused a lot of places to have to shut down. Competition's just too high. So the question becomes: is this new form of recreational a fun thing to do in your free time and spend your expendable income on? Is this going to impact craft brew as well? Is this going to start shutting down craft breweries when
steal money from craft beer
straight out of craft brew's wallet? So in an article on Esquire, they note that craft beer production is growing in America. There are still plenty of new watermelon weisses and double hopped IPAs to be enjoyed, but it isn't growing nearly as fast as it used to. In 2017, 165 breweries closed up shop, a significant leap from the previous year. Production is actually slowing in the craft brew industry. One possible culprit for this...
Yeah, but have they said how many breweries opened?
10,000.
In the last...
No, I mean, that's the problem.
No, it's something massive, though. I mean, even though 100 have closed, like, you have 10 times the amount that are opening.
2 shops closed. That's all that matters. Jobs. It's jobs.
Okay. Keep going.
So one possible culprit for this lack and slowing in production is cannabis, which some experts argue could replace beer where recreational use is legal. Instead of cracking open a cold beer at the end of the day, people are choosing to smoke weed or eat edibles, the argument goes. It's a fight to the death between cannabis and beer, and only one vice can be victorious. But Bob Peace, president...
That is bullshit. I'm sorry.
100% don't agree with it.
This is so dumb.
It's going to take a hard turn that I agree with. That is a shitty premise because you would just...
I'm pretty sure bars had, like, cigarette machines.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
bar, like,
they don't tell you, oh, you got a cigarette, you're fucking done.
Yeah, no, they were like, I'm pretty sure both these vices can live together. Let's just compound all of those sales together on one person. This is not a problem. All right, sorry, keep going.
So, but Bob Peace, president and CEO of the Brewers Association, says that while cannabis is a concern, the sales numbers don't make it a real threat. That's great. That's what we're saying. It's not a real threat. However, this is when he takes the bad turn. He says it's phones that are doing the number on craft brewing.
Phones.
He goes on to argue that because people spend too much money on iPhones, that's why they're not buying beer. Which is
what?
So I don't know. Like maybe he's already on cannabis and he's like, I've already made the leap and it's wonderful.
Maybe all of his like big time beer drinkers all have flip phones.
Yes.
Well, they must not be buying those expensive phones because they're spending all that money on that beer.
What I do think is interesting is the article goes on to note that in the U.S. we're already getting more cannabis products in legal states like Hi-Fi Hops, the Lagunitas THC and CBD infused sparkling water out in California. In Colorado, the creator of Blue Moon is launching a THC infused non-alcoholic beer.
I did hear that.
With blood orange pills called Grainwave. So we're already seeing it start to get infused into the atmosphere and become a part of it, which I think is more the natural transition than replacing it.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of excited to see where it goes because it's going to open up a new wave to where we're not only seeing like coffee beer or the standard flavors that we see and the creativeness is sort of lacking now because there are like 10,000 new breweries a year doing the exact same new creative thing. So this is a new ingredient for them to play with. So I'm kind of interested to see where they go in the coming year because it's not all like just making it flavor. Obviously, you don't really wouldn't want that flavor in it. So they have to do something to play with the effects of it instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with the head brewer of Blue Moon who like moved to like brew something with cannabis in it, we're already seeing that there's a merging of those two markets.
Oh, absolutely. And people are enthusiastic about it because not only is it creative, it's something they couldn't have before. The taboo factor is just so high.
Yeah.
This is like the lifting of prohibition again. So you're going to see like this big influx of people wanting it. So yeah, you wouldn't try to compete with it. You would try to incorporate it into what you do. So it's really cool. I'm excited to see where that goes.
It would be interesting to follow up on that later or to see like the numbers on that for Colorado in particular.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, keep track of our own numbers in Massachusetts now that we have those 2 stores open.
Right back to numbers. I see what you're doing. Like, you're bored out of your mind. Let's bring the numbers back. Bring the numbers back. So you had 2 stories. What was your other
story? Because I found the first one. I thought it was great, but I really wanted to talk about the second one.
Some villain story times merits playing the song again.
Hey, Carla, do you remember that song? Can you sing it for us real quick?
It's summer villain story time.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, man.
So second story.
All right. This is something to tug at your beer heartstrings for a little bit right here. Sierra Nevada starts a campaign to support those impacted by the Camp Fire in California. It's awesome. Cool. So the name of the beer is called Resilience Butte County Proud IPA. It's packaged in cans by Sierra Nevada and on draft to participating brewers everywhere. So participating brewers is crazy because it's like 1,000 breweries around the country, and they have a list of them around there. It's nuts. It's so crazy how many breweries that they have. Let me read a couple things off here. So as you're aware, Sierra Nevada Brewing Company and their surrounding communities are all in the midst of dealing with the still active Camp Fire. even though they're all living in the moment to moment, trying to figure out who is safe and, if their homes have been spared, the beauty of the human spirit still shines through. They have this website where they show...
You just missed something beautiful, listeners.
What?
The visual aspect you missed is we had to scroll down the list of verifying dates for age.
So I put down 1943. Don't judge me. But okay, stop that for 1 second. Look at the list of these breweries. There's so many of them. Wow. So what they did was they shared the recipe for this IPA, and all these breweries signed up to brew the same beer on Giving Tuesday, which was today, like hashtag Giving Tuesday or whatever. So they shared the recipe. It's on the Homebrewers Association website, American Homebrewers Association website.
Oh, so you can brew this yourself.
Yeah, and the best part is that the recipe that they have on there is the 5-gallon homebrew version. And they also have like malt extract options. So there's they tell you it's like 90% two-row, 10% crisp crystal, 60. There's Centennial Cascade hops in it, and it's also dry hopped. And then you use your yeast, which is an imperial dry hop yeast.
That's really
and
cool.
That's how you can get it. But all of these breweries, I've been scrolling the entire time I've been talking.
There are so many.
There's so many. So the local ones,
faces too. Like I'm seeing there's
Creature Comforts. There you go.
Creature Comforts.
Yeah, we're on the C's. I've been scrolling for a while. We're only on the C's. The local ones here. So I guess what's going to happen is that these breweries are going to have them on tap at their brewery. So if you can do that in the next week, go to your local brewery from this website, sierranevada.com/Resilience Brute County Proud IPA. You'll be able to find the brewery that has decided to be very nice and giving and devote some of their brew time to this beer.
So many on here, and then high-end
ones
too, like Foam is on here, Founders.
So the local ones in our area, I pulled out a couple.
CBC on there, so I saw
CBC, Lord Hobo, Night Shift, Trillium. It's great. There's just a ton of them. It's so awesome. Please look it up. See if your local brewery is making the Proud IPA, and then go buy a pint.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah, definitely. Help those people with those campfires.
They will pour a beer out on the fire for you.
By campfires, I mean just one camp. House of Pendragon Brewing Company.
I just was drawn to that too. I was like,
damn.
What the hell?
That is awesome. A sweet logo.
I want Ferrari, but dragons.
Yes. All right, that was my only other story. I love Sierra Nevada for doing this. I also love Sierra Nevada beers in general.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, it's beer. The beer community always focuses on giving back. It's really cool. So if go on the site, check it out. We'll post the link in the show notes. Find your local brewery and go out and support it for a good cause.
All right, we're done.
That's it.
I got my second story out of the way. Thank you for entertaining me just for a little bit. Guess what we're gonna do next? Right. We're going to drink some beers. We have 3 huge bottles. We are going to get drunk tonight off of a lot of Night Shift beer.
So, yeah, I mean, Night Shift, there's not a lot they don't do well. If anything, they don't do well. I'll start out with that. Their Barrel Society stuff is really cool. So they play around with a lot of flavors. We'll read the notes off of all these. The theme here is these are all aged in wine barrels.
Oh, before you say that, their Barrel Society has changed. So it used to be that you could only get a membership if you went on October 1st and signed up. You got in line. They only gave so many spots, and you had to pay right there for it. And then you got all these awesome deals, right? They've turned it into kind of like this newsletter thing where you sign up for it, anybody can join, and now as long as you get there early enough, you can pre-order but also get the bottles. It's really nice so that anybody can access it. You just need to be one of the first people to get it. It's much better than just having that one time a year where you have to get in line to be a part of the Barrel Society.
And that's a thing that a lot of breweries are doing to build capital up front, to have, more capital to explore different, more inventive brewing styles, different types that they can do. I think that was part of probably why they shifted it over to it being more open, is because they are so crazy popular. They could probably afford to open it up a little
they're
bit.
getting really big. They have their own distribution company. It's
really
getting
cool.
nuts.
But I will say Night Shift brings a lot of cool stuff to the area with their distribution and gets our cool stuff out too. So like they've been pretty cool and creative with that aspect too. And again, I think I've pitched it before. That logo rules. They took their basic logo, just opened the wings up for the stuff they can fly.
So good.
Very cool. So, like I started to mention before Jason just completely rudely cut me off.
Oh, can I interrupt you again?
Go ahead.
No,
so
please go ahead.
There's a theme, not only in name, but to the style that each of these barrel age runs will share. And this one is actually the beers have all been aged. The different styles of beers have all been aged in various wine barrels. So there's a combination of different styles of beer and different types of wine that these have been aged in. The first one we actually don't have. It was very difficult to find and actually impossible in the end, which was a barley wine. The second one that we have is King Lear. And Jason, I'm going to ask you to read the brewer's notes on it in a second, but King Lear is a double IPA aged in Sauvignon Blanc barrels with Brettanomyces.
Ooh.
And then the notes are right there on the side.
Oh, the notes are right here on the side. Man. This is release number 2 from 2017. So I've been holding on to this for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Pours rich, dark orange with a bright white head. Classic Brett Funk. Grapefruit and oaky white wine on the nose. Tropical fruits on the palate, followed by stone fruit. Finishes with dry, tannic notes. The flavors in this bottle will mature and evolve over time. Consider cellaring in a cool, dark place for up to 5 years. Oh, that's crazy. So this is only 1 out of the 5. Please chill bottle for at least 24 hours before opening, which I did, and I am super excited to try this beer.
It's going to be really cool.
Also, before we get into this, I just wanted to recap our review system, since we hardly ever do that anymore. We just get straight to the drinking.
Just, can't get there, scratching, itching for a drink.
I know. Which is why we have to start with a starter beer while we're drinking and telling story time. Yeah. So we had a heady topper first, which was great.
I just want it.
Yeah. You need something to just grease those wheels before you get into it, you know? All right, so we have 5 categories: packaging, smell, taste, creativity, intangibles. First of all is the packaging. What makes this great is, what catches your eye and grabs your sight. You take it off the shelf. Does this crazy design catch you from a mile away? I don't know. 1 out of 10, you decide.
You are killing me.
Smell. Does the beer or cider have a distinct aroma that sets it apart? Do you smell it and it tastes like crap? I think we have... It goes from 0, which is Sex Panther, to 10, which is actual Panther.
Yeah, and that's a good system to judge it by, because we've had some Sex Panther ones.
Oh, definite Sex Panther ones.
God. I can't remember the name of that one, but it...
was it a wine?
It wasn't a wine. I don't know if it was a cider or not, actually.
Oh, man.
Packaging was dynamite, and it's what made somebody take it off the shelf.
But I smelled it and wanted to vomit.
Oh, it was the worst. I could not get past the smell.
Bad. These are all weighted, by the way. So, like, packaging, smell, yeah, okay, that's fine. You have, like, your 7 to 8 to 10% range. Taste is the big one. You may look great and smell fantastic, but if you're not delivering on the actual taste, you're undoing all of your hard work spent crafting an enticing brew. Taste, obviously, it's always big. I think it's like something like 60-something% on our rate.
Once you have it, if you know you like it, that's really when you'll come back to it.
Maine Beer Company, they have one goddamn bicycle on there or something.
You do it well.
Just says dinner, and you're like, what the hell is this? And then it's fantastic, and you always want it. Our 4th one is creativity. Everyone loves a catchy name or style of beer, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you're super creative and you have crazy wizards and stuff and unicorns all over it, we're probably going to like it and think that it's creative. But also the recipe, if you have a peanut butter and jelly beer, it's gonna be high on the creativity bar for me. I really want that. And the intangibles. Was there something truly outstanding about the brew that just put it over the top? We believe in extra credit and A pluses for effort, so that we have just a little bit to put something over the top if you really like it.
Yeah, it used to be extra credit.
It used to be something else.
So many complaints.
All right. King Lear, the double IPA with Brettanomyces in there, aged in some white wine Sauvignon Blanc barrels.
Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc barrels.
8.3.
Yeah, it's worth noting that these have been like back stamped for the alcohol by volume. But we'll talk about that as we go through because one of them actually has been stamped, I think, after they remeasured it. So it's kind of cool that these will build over time. So yeah, I mean, this one's going to be really, really good. I mean, I've been criticized recently that I call people dumb a lot in passing, so I wanted to focus tonight.
Who criticizes you for calling people dumb? That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, someone pointed it out. I was like, oh, yeah.
You're looking at your phone. Did someone email you and tell you
this
that?
is a live complaint. No. So I wanted to focus my Shakespeare quotes for this episode with
my
quotes
God.
about being stupid.
So, guys, Alex let me know before the recording that he loves Shakespeare. I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this. So when he was like, let's have a Shakespeare episode where we just drink all these beers.
Up on him.
Didn't know what I was going to get myself into.
He didn't know that he was going to be sitting in the room with a winner.
Oh, man.
A winner of the
That's
high
why you
school
have
award for
that
Shakespeare.
ruffly collar around your neck right now, looking all crazy.
Kind of weird. I actually legitimately won a Shakespeare award. In fact, it was like for doing the best on Shakespeare test. And you think
for doing the best on Shakespeare.
Yeah, the elderly English teacher like rewarded me, which this is like a ticket to getting beat up in most societies, but for some reason it didn't happen. What I instead got, and you would think the reward would also be a roughly collar. No, it was a bookmark and I think a pencil or something. The dorkiest of gifts, but I was so proud at the time. So with the focus on being calling people idiots, telling them to shut up, we'll go with the King Lear quote of, "When we are born, we cry that we are come to this great stage of fools."
Okay. Can you please open the beer now?
Well, after we do a short reading.
This looks great. All right. So first of all, packaging. All of these beers look awesome because they all look the same. They're all from the same barrel society. They're all in big bottles and like wine bottles, brown bottles. And they all have the same type of. It looks like a wood burning label.
Yeah, it's like this.
Like the side of an oak barrel, basically.
Yeah, it looks like they just burned the logo onto the barrel.
The Night Shift barrel logo.
And it's time stamped with 2017, and it's the actual Barrel Society logo, which is slightly different. Again, that owl logo is just dynamite.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a very pretty. The carbonation is still there, which was my one concern with these.
The head is legit, and it is staying.
Yeah, it is solid.
It's a little murky, amber ale-ish. What does it smell like?
You can definitely smell the wine off
that's
of
that Brett Funk, too.
And the Brett Funk is so strong. It's going to be interesting because the particulate is not there, which is good. That means it was actually stored correctly. But it looks good. It's got a nice cone to it, like something that's aged with Brettanomyces should have that golden cone that goes through it. We don't get a lot of depth with
I'm glad that you're noticing that my storage skills have risen a little bit.
Oh, they're better than mine.
It was it was a wine fridge that is now just completely taken over by beer.
Oh, that's the more acceptable beverage. So giving it a taste.
Oh, that's so drinkable.
I like this a lot better than the first time I had it. I'm definitely getting that dry Sauvignon Blanc feel from it.
Yeah.
It is so dry. But there's a richness to it from the Brettanomyces. So I guess the richness is coming from the wine as well.
Ooh,
it's
wow.
buttery.
So the longer that I'm getting that aftertaste, the more that I'm tasting the wine. And I want to compare that. If you remember the Cape May wine that we had that was like red and dark.
Yeah.
All right, so that aftertaste I thought was nasty.
Yeah.
It was like this red wine type of feel that was like tanniny, tangy.
Yeah, it was sickly feeling. It wasn't.
This one, first of all, the wine flavor is still lingering, but I do not mind it as much as the other one.
I don't either. Usually I don't like the white wines that have that more buttery feel to them. I kind of like this. It's dry but buttery. It's a weird combination. And the beer taste that sort of takes a back seat to the wine taste in this one is interesting too, because it's not your standard New England IPA kind of feel, but it's definitely what they packed into those barrels. So it's a really good flavor profile. But I keep coming back to the word buttery. That's what I get from this. It's not butter beer, but it's buttery.
It's butter and also tangy because this is a double IPA that they threw in this barrel. Like there's definitely hops in there.
And this clocks in at 8.3% too. So it's
Does it say how many IBUs are on there? Because I feel like this is pretty high up on the bitters unit.
No, I don't see it, but it would have to be because it is a very bitter beer. I genuinely did not like this one the first time I had it. I like it now.
You-
So I think
yeah?
the flavor profile has either changed or I've become a different man.
I would like to taste this compared to, a one that was just bottled or something like that.
Yeah, so we're gonna build a time machine and go back and
Wish I had another one of these bottles.
Yeah, and looking at even inside the bottle, the bubbles in there are just so giant. They're climbing up the wall of the bottle.
This is good. I've drank half of this small glass now, and the head, it still looks fantastic. It's a great looking beer. I know that's not one of our our categories, but you have so many beers that just like lose the head all of a sudden. This is like frothy.
It is.
It looks great.
I still love when you get that golden cone that goes in there. See the lighter color around the bottom of the inverted cone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a good body, and you can tell it's going to be a good beer when you dive into it. But I actually really love this one this time through.
Oh, King Lear. Oh, there's one thing that I remember about King Lear. Patrick Stewart. I am so old. Please don't make fun of me. No, you can make fun of me. I was watching Patrick Stewart on like C-SPAN like a decade ago.
I'm gonna make fun of that because like anything that's Patrick Stewart Shakespeare is gold.
Yeah, he read a passage from King Lear, and on TV you could see that before he started reading the passage, he like got into character. Mm-hmm. And you could physically see him on TV, like, morph into King Lear somehow. And all of a sudden, he, like, looked... I wish I could show you the video because first of all, he's an amazing actor. And he just turned into King Lear, and I believed it 100%. It was like he pulled a curtain down, and then, bam! Like, Shakespeare, let's go.
He's incredible because he's the only guy that, like, I adored his work, like, across the board. He can do something... goofy like a Star Trek, but also be a classic Shakespearean actor. And he's all these heroes. But then, like 3 years ago, he comes out in that movie Green Room as like the head Nazi. And he's fucking terrifying. He's such a good bad guy.
I need to watch Green Room again.
Oh, it's so good. So good. So he's amazing. He's also amazing as other Shakespeare characters. I was going to make a transition to Hamlet, but we have one in between that. Because the third one that they bottled is actually Macbeth. And to continue our...
Wait, what was the first one? Was it that barley wine?
Oh, so yes, the first one was a barley wine.
What is it? And... I forgot the name of it. Titus Andromachus.
So it's the first Shakespeare play.
Got it. Okay.
If you're a Shakespeare buff, please be sure to correct that. So
we have no Shakespeare buffs. Like we are losing so many listeners right now by talking about this.
How dare you? So, continuing the theme of idiots, which we already are doing, life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Ooh.
It's a pretty strong quote. So this is Macbeth. Macbeth is a saison fermented with Brettanomyces, aged with Meyer lemons and grapefruit in white wine barrels. The description on the side, it says, pours bright yellow with brilliant clarity, aromas of freshly zested grapefruit, and crisp white wine over funk from Brettanomyces. Lemon, vanilla, grapefruit pulp, and earthy Brett notes
oh my God,
on the
this
palate,
sounds so
lingering
good.
citrus, pith, and oak on finish. The flavors in this bottle will mature and evolve over time. They give basically the same thing, saying like you can age it for up to 5 years.
So you're reading the side of it and then pointing the top to me, and then I noticed their bottle caps. Their bottle caps are so great.
The Barrel Society bottle caps are dynamite.
Oh man, just orange with the owl on the front, and that's it.
With
it's
like an antique gold owl.
Fantastic.
So good looking.
If you're like one of those guys, from like college that like collected the bottle caps and then like made tables out of them, yeah, you'd be like, bro, give me that night shift.
Whoa, this one.
Oh, it's exploding. 2017. All right, so where did you store this? I stored mine in the wine fridge that I have.
Bottom shelf of fridge, on its side, slightly tilted. So
perfect.
It should be very similar as soon as it quits. Wow, that went all the way down my arm there.
Seems to have been fairly carbonated.
Yeah, so which actually for saisons, I should have sort of contemplated that because saisons will do that a little bit more than others. Lose the jacket there.
Here, let me pour some of this. Again, packaging is still the same because they all look exactly the same, and I think it's great. if you have some sort of like barrel or bottle collection for these aged beers, I think you should definitely buy these guys if you can.
This one definitely has a instantly different, lighter color to it, like you would expect from a saison.
I'm gonna try to give you a little bit more ahead of mine because I was very careful in the pouring. So the head on this is like disappearing immediately compared to the other
It
one.
has a lot of carbonation flowing through it, but the head just immediately dissipates. There's
Wow.
a lot of carbonation pumping through it, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just the interaction with the type of beer is probably just slightly different. Because looking back, the King Lear definitely, I mean, it still has a frothy head on it.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let's taste it or smell. We haven't smelled it yet.
This one doesn't have a lot of distinct
Yeah, it
smell.
doesn't smell like anything.
I'm definitely getting the grapefruit. I get vanilla a little bit. I was kind of expecting that to die by the wayside because I thought that they were just saying that because most barrel-aged stuff sort of picks that up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do get that.
It's very light.
It's very light. I mean, compared to the one we just had, it feels more like a cider. I mean, but it's a saison. It's supposed to have a little bit of a lighter body than your typical ales.
I have that like sour saison taste. The white wine barrels hardly coming through at all. Like you have that maybe like a Riesling type of taste that's like crisp and then like disappears.
I think the fruit's killing it. I think the fruit is overpowering anything you would have picked up from the barrel. I definitely get the Riesling feel off of it too. I think the white wine was so strong in the previous one that we're just not noticing in this one at all.
It could be. This is a much more delicate beer than the first one. King Lear is like heavy.
Yeah. Well, I got bad news for you. It's going to get heavier.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh,
No, but
so good.
Macbeth is, I don't know. It's kind of like a silent enjoyment for me. It is very, I feel like it's
crushable.
subtle.
Like I could drink a lot of this one, and I fucking hate that
Slammable.
I conceded that it's slammable. But
I think it's those lemons in there for sure.
it is. So like this, it feels like a summer beer. It's just kind of interesting.
It's really drinkable. Like, oh my gosh.
I love the flavor profile of it because it's not any one single fruit. Of anything, I would say maybe the grapefruit is a little bit more overpowering, but no, actually lemon. I think it's a lemon that comes through more than the grapefruit.
I'm feeling the lemons on there. Yep. If you had that with, say, like, I don't know why I think about key lime pie when
I was
taste
just
this.
about to say pie. That's pie beer. Like,
This is a pie beer right here.
but it would pair really well with it because it's very light, very crisp. The carbonation is kind of it kind of kicks into you while you're drinking it. You feel it like hit your nose and your lip. So there's a lot coming through that. The body is just so vastly different. And, to have that much carbonation, even though the head dissipated so quickly for being aged.
Yeah, it's still fairly carbonated.
I mean,
Obviously,
exploded,
it's exploded. But like the head on King Lear is still there. Like,
Yeah,
it's nuts.
it's not been disturbed at all for mine.
God, I'm gonna have a really hard time rating these for sure.
They're
so
vastly
different.
and
Yeah.
but it's really cool. I like that what they've done is they've not only varied. They didn't say like one type of barrel, different types of beer. That's different barrel and different types of beer. So you're getting a true, palate experience or a wide spectrum experience for what you can have. Hoping this one doesn't explode because I adore this one so much. This is what actually made me want to do this Shakespeare episode, was having this one about a year ago. And to cut myself off here, so the other thing was that, I call people idiots a lot. And tell them to shut up. You should shut up. So we'll go with brevity is the soul of wit. And, of course, that means that we have next is Hamlet, the dark sour ale aged in white wine and red wine.
Really?
So this one's interesting. The notes say it pours a deep, enticing shade of mahogany, vibrant aromas of port and earthy dark fruit, flavors of fig, ripe raspberries, and pale chocolate.
Oh, this
with
sounds
an
good
assertive
too.
tannic backbone. And this is the one I was talking about. They stamped it. They must have waited until after they got through with the process because it's harder to gauge because of all that fruit.
Yeah.
You can see that how they've stamped their ABV is different than the pre-printed labels.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this one clocks in. How much actually? I don't think we said for Macbeth. What did it clock in at?
Macbeth was 5.7 and King Lear
Was 8.3.
was 8.3.
So this is coming in right at 9%. So this is a heftier ABV than the others, and really hoping this one doesn't explode because it is a dark beast. from what I remember.
Dark sour ales are
My absolute
kind of
favorite.
delicious. Oh yeah, you're a big fan of Flemish reds too,
I am,
right?
and it's like me and two other people in the world. I love a good.
There we go.
Yeah. You can tell like immediately when open these things if they're gonna explode on you. This one is beautiful. It's like a.
Ooh yeah, that's
again,
a dark
The head is
thing.
not going away quite as
Looks
fast.
like figs to me.
Oh yeah.
This looks good. So the smell on this, because I'm smelling it immediately, a lot like Macbeth, where you're barely smelling anything.
Yeah, I think you're getting a
Head dissipates
maybe
immediately.
An earthier smell off of this one than you would Macbeth. Like, I'm gonna return to the smell on that one.
I think you can kind of have that sweet dark fruit taste or smell to it.
Yeah, and I mean it does pour. The mahogany is a great description of it because it almost is like a sour.
Can't see
brown
through
red.
it. It's not like cloudy. It's just too dark to see
yeah,
through.
It's just that. But going right into tasting it,
Ah, yeah.
it's really good.
Oh,
You
that's
pick
awesome.
up immediately that fig, that the raspberry actually punches through a little bit more than the last time I remember it.
It's a pretty strong raspberry taste right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, immediately, like, first touch to the tongue, I get fig, but yeah, the raspberry takes over and sort of lingers. I don't know if I'm only imagining the chocolate taste a little bit because of them mentioning it, but I definitely feel it paired a little bit with on the back end of the raspberry taste.
Yeah. I can imagine chocolate, but I'm not really tasting it that much. It's a fantastic beer, though. And this does not taste like 9% at all.
Which was what I was going to say next, is I think this is also slammable. I think the least slammable of the ones that we've talked about today is that first one.
Yeah.
But by all means, it should be the last one because it's darker, it's heavier, it's higher ABV. But I think the sweetness makes it a little bit more passive, and the carbonation is a little bit more muted.
See, I go back to King Lear now, and I see how you don't like it. After tasting those first two, I was like, ooh.
Well, now the smell is so overpowering because the Brettanomyces are so much stronger in that one.
It's so strong. That is your big-time farmhouse type of smell on the King Lear,
It is.
and you don't get it with the other ones.
It's harder to love that one going back to it after having these others, but I'm glad we started with it because I think that these actually build really well on the palate, which makes sense. I think they scheduled them out in the year that way because if you think about it, because this was actually they'll say when they were bottled. I think this was bottled in December of 2017.
Oh yeah.
The other one was like around Q3 and like Q2. I think that's the way they'd sort of scheduled them.
That could be July 17 for King Lear and November 17 for Macbeth.
So not too terribly far off then,
but man, that's so good.
yeah, I mean
I think it's slammable. I think this one's slammable.
It is slammable. I think the only one that's not is going to be King Lear. I think the theme for 2018 was galaxies. I mean, it always changes up. There's what they do with the Barrel Society, but it's always cool, always unique. Don't miss the opportunity to get them, collect them, try them back to back, because they're just so vastly different and they're really creative, like everything that Night Shift does.
Yeah, I think we need to take some time to rate these.
Yeah.
Take
some time to actually sit here and contemplate it.
All right. We'll take some time. We're going to go to our classic rating form, and then we'll be back with the numbers in just a second. All right, we're back. And we rated everything. We pretty much decided that we were on the same page, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's pretty uniform what we have results here.
So in our results, this is what we got. We have Night Shift King Lear at the bottom. And I'm not surprised at that at all.
But
right?
I will say, like, for a bottom beer, that's the highest rating I've seen for a bottom beer on this podcast so far. So out of 10, it clocks in it.
That's true.
What's the average score there?
7.31.
7.31. Anything north of 7 is always, like, maybe a
fairly
winner.
high. Yeah,
so
fairly
like,
high.
That's the low one here. So, like, these are great beers.
Yep. Next is Macbeth. We're coming in, and the packaging, you know, what I really think is that obviously it's all the same in packaging, which I'm glad that we all agree.
We did very like, I don't know, I kind of like that one better. I guess, well, you know, the names look slightly different, kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, Macbeth's a little bit varied, but it's not worth having a distinction. It's
no, it's not. They are all in different fonts or whatever, but yeah, so Macbeth, smell, we both rated that super low.
Well, it's just so neutral. You don't really get. It's not offensive, so it doesn't dip below 5.
Yep.
But it's non-existent. I mean, like it smell. You could smell there's something there, but that's about it. There's nothing that stands out.
Right. And it got higher in taste by a full notch, so that's how it won for sure.
It's just more pleasant, I think. That the lemons, the fruits that come through it. I think that while King Lear was definitely more, you taste the wine distinction there a little bit better.
Yep.
The beer in Macbeth was definitely better.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And then the top one is obviously Night Shift Hamlet, which
fucking love that beer.
8.49, pretty good. It's a significant jump up.
Solid score.
Yeah,
it's a really strong score.
Taste only 0.5 higher, which I think is funny. It's just that across the board, creativity, extra mile, even smell better.
And 2 out of the 3 were slammable. I think we sort of gave it away going through the podcast, but the first one's definitely not slammable. King Lear's not slammable. It's definitely enjoyable. I think giving it credit where credit's due here, it's the prettiest one of the 3.
And I think we both decided with Hamlet, now that we've been tasting more, and I've actually been drinking it the entire time that we've been talking about it. I was like, all right, out of all of them, obviously my favorite is Macbeth because that's the only one in my hand now. But like, we are also deciding that like it has that like plum, date-ish, fig-ish taste to it. That's just so perfect right now. It's like, for a winter beer that you want to just like sit down and enjoy.
It's so solid.
Oh man, it's so good.
There's a lot to absorb there. It's the same way that you would sit down and have a brandy or something that's just that nice after, like almost like a dessert beer.
Yeah.
But it's not solidly that. I mean, it's something it's complex, it's enjoyable, but it's somehow slammable too. Like it's so. I don't know why I give that slammable, other than the fact that I am slamming this beer. It's so good.
Look at these scores. So like, all right, we have for our beer group a leaderboard per month on what's the best. Night Shift, Macbeth, and Hamlet make it to the top. Hamlet is the best at 8.49. King Lear actually is even better. We had a very bad we had a very bad showing this past month.
Well, I mean, strong beer. The thing that sort of bogs down the voting system is when we have what we have at the beer events, which is an insanely good lineup. I mean, we have Founders. On this one alone, you have Night Shift, Trillium, Founders, CBS, Burlington Beer Company, Maine Beer Co., Far From the Tree. I mean, like, a lot of really strong contenders having to fight it out. So people are sort of like basing it off of all giants showing up. So
I do want to note 2 things on here. If you can, please try to get these. One of them is Trillium Tiramisu.
That is so good.
You can get it by the bottle if you go to Trillium and buy it, because they don't have any other means of distribution. It is a fantastic porter that, oh my gosh, it's great. It'll blow your mind. That was one of the top ones we had. And the other one, 4 Quarters Peach Shakedown.
What's really good, and you hate peach. And
I hate peach.
I like that one.
Oh my gosh, my wife brought it, and I was like, okay, well, I hope this is really good, because it's like this like milkshake stout, or not, sorry, milkshake IPA, right, with a lot of lactose in it, a lot of peach, and oh my gosh, so good. Peach milkshake all day IPA.
It's so good.
Yeah, if you can find that 4 Quarters, it's fantastic.
I'm assuming you want more of this Hamlet over here, so here you go.
Yeah, please give me some of that Hamlet.
It's gonna be a early morning. No, I mean, these are incredible scores. I mean, these are the highest scores I think that we've had consensus for the podcast. So it speaks volumes about Night Shift. I can't say enough about them, how great they are, how creative they are. Really a giant in the space, and they have not lost the craft brew feel throughout that process of growing, and is really booming.
You're right.
We've done it again.
Did we reach the end? I think we did.
We did. Like all tragedies, we have to accept the fact that someone has to die at the end of it.
Oh my God. Mr. Shakespeare over here.
So awful. You give a man a bookmark and a pencil, and it goes straight to his head for the rest of his life. Thanks again for joining us. I can't believe you stuck through an entire hour of Shakespeare. 2 stories from Jason, which are always boring. 1 amazing story from me.
Please email your questions, comments, and concerns and rants to us at somervilleandbrewcast@gmail.com. And in the subject, you can put how awesome Shakespeare is for Alex. Please follow us on Twitter at SVBrewcast and on Instagram at Somerville and Brewcast. Also visit our website and buy some swag at www.somervilleandbrewcast.com. Thanks everyone for listening, and until next time, beep, boop, bop, beer.